Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Sulman Rahim here. Master of Covenant, breaker of seven seals. Trying to feel the heat, brothers and sisters? Trying to feel the heat? Or are you going to get it? Get to 1,000,000 degrees in a minute. Fear. Fear. Fear, fear. Fear, pain. Same thing, just different qualities. Fear, mental. Pain is physical. Fear is mental pain. But many times it could be the root of physical pain. It could be initiated. Fear cause you to have a heart attack, physical. Cause you have a stroke. Originates in the mind. Fear. We don't have control. The aspect of losing control. What fear is. Peace is when you have control. You're peace when you have control of everything. Calm. No, better. Okay, yeah. Everything under your control. If I lose control, fear comes in. Confusion. Remember, it's mental. You know, the more or less control you have, the more fear you have. So you lose total control, and then fear becomes overwhelming. Because you're in dark and you don't know what to do. You're surrounded by everything that's out of your control. When you're surrounded by things out of your control, I mean, you lose control. Because everything is controlled. Either you control yourself or you're controlled by others. Energy don't just sit there. Pressure just doesn't sit there. If you more control you have of yourself, more control you have over things around you. Less control you have of yourself, less control you have things around you. And fear comes in when you're losing control. The more control you lose, the more fear you have. And America is about to lose total control. That's why it says the fear happened as a result of powers you're familiar with was broken. In other words, they had power with something, they lost that power. And the loss was so great, couldn't have heart attacks, strokes. That's what's happening, brothers and sisters, because America is losing control. And Trump was a result of fear. That's why he was elected, fear. Because he's telling them, I'm going to get things back under control. These things are very simple when you really think about them. He's telling you, because it comes in fear. He was promising, I'm going to take away your fear. You don't have to say it. I used to be amazed in my younger days. This was after Elijah departed, before the angel. So between 75 and 90, right? And that time I used to watch the Sunday talk shows all the time. You know, Face the Nation and what's the other ones? You know the names of them, right? And it used to amaze me how they used to talk to black people, about black people, without black folks knowing they was talking about them. I mean, the way they would talk. And you say, and don't they understand what they're saying? Could they take our people to be so stupid? And a lot of us are stupid. Not naturally stupid, made stupid. And he said, and I'd be actually talking to a black person. And I say, don't you realize they cutting you to pieces? But then look, say, well, look at the Democratic Party. They're totally against black people. And black people love them. I said, and when Bill Clinton came along and says, that guy's a big conscious card shark. I mean, he's a con man. He's totally against black people, but he rubbed their head and pat him on the butt, and they pray, man, and play a little, put some shade on him, play the trombone, and man, oh man, they love Bill Clinton. And all his policies was totally against black people, all of them. So was Biden. Is. And I was always amazed at. So how can that be? Why do they love these people? And then I thought about, I was thinking Sunday about Ishmael. He said, why do they love the devil? Because the devil gives them nothing. And I'm saying, And another thing I thought about says, well, if you were a dog, and this is a kingdom of dogs, you got cats there, and your kingdom cats have to act like dogs because they be against the law. It's the law is for dogs. So you got to act like that dogs, or you a criminal. You're a terrorist. Whatever. But if you start acting like dogs, then you can't be happy. You can't be successful because you're going against your nature. See? And so you have to have the mind of dogs. So if you got a mind of dogs, it means you're going to hate cats. But you are a cat. You see what I'm saying? So dogs could talk to you about cats. And yeah, man, you're right. Because you got the same mind as this. And you don't get it. Because they talk about you. They talk about you. And the same thing on people. Because they love the devil. The devil's because they got devil's mind. The devil say he was beating himself up. The devil say, yeah, they write down. That's why I love the Democratic Party so much. Because Democratic Party against black people, but they got a mind that's against black people. So yeah, man. I mean, you know, this information is very simple. But if you got a simple mind, it's very complicated. Like I was saying, simple minds complicate and complex minds simplify. So if you got a simple mind, everything is complicated to you. But you got a complex mind, you simplify everything. This information is simple. But you got a simple mind, so it's complicated to you. And so everything you do is against yourself. It tells you everything you do is against yourself. It says, until you got your mind back, everything black folks do against themselves. That explains a lot of stuff, don't it? You love the enemies, right? You love your enemies. And they tell you love your enemies, that's them, right? Because your enemies, if you're a sheep, right? Your enemies are wolves. But if that wolf looks like a lamb, then you don't know it. Another way of looking at it, I said, if you got a dog's mind, but you're a cat, you're going to love dogs. You're going to hate cats. And everybody's, let's go get them cats. You're going to be right on board. Say, why is that cat going out there killing cats? Why does he hate cats so much? Because you know some people like that. They hate black people. You say, well, and then we ain't talking about demons now. We're not talking about demons. See? They're a closed enemy, because, right? Because they're the ones that look like us, they ain't us. But you got those of us. And see, that's why he had two things. They're almost identical. Because it's two missions that Suleiman had to do. The first two missions, beyond breaking seals, that was the primary one. A mission that he had determined himself. No one determined it for him. He had to be true to it, or he couldn't have got to where he is. Okay, I'm going to go off a little course here a little bit. You know, it says there's certain things he would know, see. I don't want to lose my train of thought here. Certain things he would know and see because they were like landmarks. See, a landmark is something to let you know that you're on the right path. Okay? They say, oh, well, if you see a mountain over here, or you see a Walmart over here, then you know you're going, look for this, and then you know you're going on the right path, right? And so things kept occurring in my sense, breaking the seals. There's certain things that said would happen to let me know. And if those happen and then time frame happen, I know if those things didn't happen, I know I'm not in sync with the scripture. I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. In other words, not put it this way, I'm not doing what I need to do to accomplish my mission. We could note here, Ron, because I'm about to get my Short-term memory, brothers and sisters. It's almost all gone. Mm-hmm. My notes here, brothers and sisters. Give me a second. Okay. I'm diverted for a second. And so, to let me know, right? I'm in sync. Because like I said, those prophecies is the mind that we need for the time. The angel is the mind we need for this time. Make sure that mind is sharp, on time, and effective, right? I mean, it's like on a journey, so make sure you're on the right path and your time is right. So say you had to be there at 9 o'clock on Tuesday, whatever. So and say, okay, you're going to be on this, and if you on time, right, then you should, by the time it's 3 o'clock come, you should be passing right this White Castle or something. You know what I'm saying? Those things in there. And so some of these things that happen to me, that lets me know that they're just landmarks. It's like 3 years in Demon Island. Right? So that man, see? So I look at it, yeah, it's bad, yeah. But it shows me that I was doing everything right. Or that wouldn't happen. Because I'm right in tune to that prophecy. I'm in tune to that prophecy. I'm right on. I got my mind is exactly right in tune. Right? With this season. And then come along and says, like I said, 3 people appear. And they appear. See? So are they just landmarks? Or are they substantial? See? Because those things happen. So they tell me, okay, I'm right on time. Right? I'm effective. Okay? Because so for other things that it says, all the landmarks showing up and right on time. I might get a little deep for some of you. Right. Let's get back to my other. What's this? Get back to my other. I was talking about you have a mind against yourself. And so we see how people, they're loving devils. They hate themselves, hate their own people. They're walking backwards. They're loving their enemy. And see, the Bible tells you to love your enemy. Well, that gets into the submissions. I mean, I don't want to go too deep. I don't want to go too deep in this kind of stuff, brothers and sisters. But that's the sealed Bible. And that's the wisdom of the sealed Bible. Right? To survive the Holocaust. So, okay, we're going to hold on to this fear, right? But see, Elijah Muhammad laid out some things that was necessary because the history he laid out, that's not in Scripture. At least not in that kind of detail. And so Master Muhammad came and gave us our basic history, which, right, I needed because that helps me understand, help me with the angel itself, because I can verify all the history once you get an angel. Because then, oh yeah, he said this, and boom, 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 right? I mean, but I can't go verify an angel. We have 66 trillion years ago. You know, the moon, it's not in there. It isn't. I've never saw it, right? But it verifies the process, how the universe works. I'll move on, bro. So I'm getting sidetracked here. But the thing is that our people been given a mind against themselves. Like I said, we're not talking about demons here. Demons are devils. It's not given the devils to have devil's mind, but our identity. And so they're hidden enemy. So someone had to deal with that, demons, and also deal with our people to give their mind back, because until they get their mind back, they're destructive. And they're not hear anything you say, I say, you hear everything the devil says. I tell them things to help themselves, and they're going to hate me for it. Because I go and tell cats things that help cats. What the hell are you helping them cats for? You should be helping dogs because they got a dog mind. It's just simple as that, brothers and sisters. I know it's so complicated because most of you out there, if not all of you, you got the same disposition. You're a cat that still loves dogs. Your nature is in conflict with that. And so when your nature is in conflict with your mind, then how you resolve that? Smoke, drink, whatever, because you're not happy. You can't be happy if your mind conflicts with your nature. You can't be happy. Because your nature, your mind, right, is supposed to reinforce your nature. It's the God's nature, right? Because you got a sense of self-preservation, your mind's supposed to feed that. But now you got a conflict there. And so you're not happy. And so you're looking for happiness. So you're doing sex and everything else, and you're abusing your woman. Because she's a cat, but you don't want her. You want the dog. Because you got a dog mind. You beat her up because she's a cat. You don't like cats. You see what's going on? That's why we act like this. But it's not our fault we acting like this. And then you might say it's our fault. Let me do this way. Because, or you're accused. No. It gets deeper. See, this ain't philosophy. This is just mathematics, brothers and sisters. It's not philosophy. Because we see this is happening. It's not philosophy when you actually see it in real time. Because that's what's happening. We was taking and giving another mind. The scriptures verify that. Right? So, but how is we given that mind? See? Well, that's our fault. Because we allowed that to happen. So that was a decision on us. So, you see what I'm saying? This gets very complicated, brothers and sisters, because, well, hell, you acting like that's your fault. You the one took that mind. If you didn't submit, you wouldn't have had that mind. Mm-hmm. So I'm going into stuff here that I normally had no intention of going into until we got home, because I want to keep it simple, because I know God. But we're so close, and at this point, I'm not sure to talk about it anymore, because I'm still debating why I should even talk about anything anymore. I've said about everything need to be said. Maybe God tell me to shut up. Why I ain't saying that happen? I'm saying, because I'm just going deeper into things I've talked about in the past. as time goes on, because I said, what's what I'm talking about? Because what I'm talking about right now, you're not going to receive, because you don't want to hear it, because you're a cat like a dog, and I'm telling you what's good for cats. He said, get the F out of my face, man. I don't hear that. I see it all the time. I see cats out there fist bumping with dogs and everything else, and they don't know dogs hate them. How you know dogs hate them? How you know dogs hate the cats? Because they got the cats acting like dogs. When you hate something, you change it. So they don't like us if we act like them. And when I say it's not going to get to you, that's why, over the years when people was coming to me, I knew damn well they wasn't believers. How could they be? Because they wouldn't believe until they got the right mind. So it was bullshitting me or agents or whatever, because unless they got the right mind, how could they be a believer? If you got a dog, if you got a cat, and you got a dog mind, how can you believe what a cat say? You can't. Dogs ain't gonna believe what cats say. Remember it says, how you say, sheep know his master's call. If you're a dog, you're gonna respond to howls. Ooh. If you're a cat, you're gonna respond to meows. And so I know, right, that the only way someone will hear this, if that conflict between nature and that mind came so great, they start trying to reject that mind, and the nature would draw them, but it's still, it's still like really ain't there. They have a conflict with nature, and oh yeah, man, I feel them. I don't understand them. I feel you, brother. Right? I feel you, but I don't understand you. So there's a conflict there. So they're not here because they believe. They're here because they're attracted. Because their spirit, their mind, their natures. Because that's tell you that in about Mark, book of Mark. It says, what drew them to Suleiman? It wasn't his mind, because he have his mind. So the only thing that drew him was the nature. So he said, because nature tells something, man. Yeah, man, I hate them damn cats. I'm a cat, right? I hate them damn. But man, they kind of like, man, I like the way they sing. Like the way they move, man. You feel them. But I don't want to hear a goddamn thing they got to say. You see? Because you see them out there. I mean, they the same one. They hate black people, but they love the music. All that, but hate black folks. I hate niggas. I hate them all the time. Yeah, well, hold it. I mean, I get, but what you say you hate. But what they really mean, they hate black people. Because they say all black folks are niggas. Ain't you? You see the complexity? And the thing is, I'm trying to show you how complicated it is, but it's not really, it's complicated if you have a weak mind. If you got a complicated mind, it's simple, because the simple answer is get them back to their mind, get them the hell out of here. That's a simple conclusion. But if you don't have that, we really got to work with this Democratic Party. We got to pass this bill. See, we need more housing. We need more jobs. All this complicated stuff, which will not solve your problem, because it's complicated as a solution. But the solution is very simple: get your mind back, get the hell out of here, because you got the wrong mind. And that's Elijah Muhammad's solution. That's Master Muhammad's solution. That's my solution. That's not Farrakhan's solution. Stay here. Yeah, the enemy, we got to turn, we got to get him repent. All this, once you analyze the problem, that there's a simple solution. That ain't it. If you're a cat and you ruled by dogs, the solution is get the hell away from them damn dogs and start acting like cats again. Then you'll be happy and you won't be in that problem. But as long as you're with them, you're going to be in total fear. You're going to be, right, because it's hard for a cat to act like a dog. It's hard for us to act like them. Therefore, but we under their law, and the law says we have to act like them. So it's hard for you to act like them. So they say, you know, you're in trouble. You got shot. You're in prison. Because the more difficult it is to act like them, the more trouble you're going to be in. Because you're going to be breaking the law and everything else. Breaking whose law? What is the law? The law is the law. When they make a law, the law is essentially their nature. Dogs are not going to make laws that's against dogs. They make laws say, okay, this way to reinforce how dogs act. So they put in law. So that's the way, if you don't act like that, think about it. If you ain't act like a dog, put him in jail. You're the enemy. You understand? That's what law is. You're the enemy. I can't have a problem here again, brothers and sisters. Think about it. If you can think. That's what law is. You make laws consistent with your nature. Oh, now I got problems. I got camera problems now, brothers and sisters. You make laws consistent with your nature. Right? So those make laws. And so you got to obey those laws. But if you're a cat, you have a hard time obeying those laws. It's going to be hard for you to do it. Because you're going to have to talk like a dog. Woof when you really want to say meow. Why are you talking like meow? You're a terrorist. You're a traitor. That's how they identify you. And that's one way they know that you, all of a sudden, they don't have control of you anymore, remember? And they fear you. They lose control of you, they fear you. Because all of a sudden, you ain't obeying the law. Why? Because you acting like a cat. Because if you don't obey the law, that means you don't act like a dog anymore. That means you're an enemy. And they don't have control. They fear you. When they fear you want to get rid of fear. Right? Nobody wants to have fear. It's like pain. You want to take a pain, something to get rid of pain. If you have fear, you want to get rid of fear. Kill them. Execute them. The more you fear them, the more they're acting like a cat, the more you got to get rid of them. And pretty soon you're going to start acting like a cat. And they're going to attack you. Because right now, they're telling you, you have to act like a dog. And see, false Israel up there, that's just, so that means you're really a dog. Because I thought cats, oh no, that's those are things over there. And you ain't supposed to act like them. I'm trying to make you break through the fog here. See, that's why they fear you. They only fear you. In other words, if you acting like them, they don't fear you because they have control of you. My name is Jimmy Knickerbocker. He's cool. Good morning. Good morning. He's cool, right? Good. That's why he came at greeting to check you out. See, check your emotional state. Because using that field, they was kicking your ass and raping your mom and everything else. They wanted to make sure that they still had you under control. So it's good morning, nigga. Good morning, master. It wasn't no good damn morning. But you better respond good morning. You better smile on your face. So they fed you shit all night. You damn near have 2 hours worth of sleep. You're back to the damn field. It's cold as hell. And you're out there picking that cotton. Your hands tired. And you work 24/7. And they say, you better say good morning. That's why I don't do it. See, we don't understand where that comes from. That greeting, check that greeting. Now, that greeting was not a greeting used before. They didn't call you good morning. The other ways to say greet you. When it wasn't good morning, that was test you. So, my name is Jimmy Knickerbocker. I believe in Jesus, and I love my enemies. See, all that calms them down because they got control of you. That story is in Exodus about that brass serpent put on a stick. Keep the serpents biting everybody. I'm not going to that, brothers and sisters. And so great fear is coming because these devils can lose control of everything. And one of the major things going to lose control of you right here. Because it says you about to be born. And by definition, right? The mother loses control of the child because she got total control of that child once in the womb. Total control. Nothing to fear. But once that child started coming out, she started losing control. I said, well, she started, yeah, she don't have she never has much control of that child out of that womb. That's the bottom line. They try to tell you that's the analogy there. And she was in the womb. We had total control. The baby was totally dependent upon her. So we totally depend upon these devils. They got a name, a religion, everything. It's like them. They tell us they hate us because they change us 100%. So they hate us 1%. You can't hate anybody more than that. You don't change something you love. They change 100%. They hate us, right? And they fear us 100%, right? That's why they change. Well, put it like this way. They don't fear you now because they totally change you. Any signs of you reverting, like you got a tiger, and you got a total tame him. Okay, you don't fear him. You're in the cage with me. And that tiger start grabbing. Hey, wait, what happened? And you start fearing that tiger. Hey man, wait a minute. Oh, wait. But you get hell with that thing's turning wild again. And part of the reason why I went through so much trouble, because I recognize, like I said, I went to the military at 17, and I was a troublemaker. I didn't know it. See? Because my nature was very strong. So it was bells against that mind. I knew something was wrong with that mind, but I didn't know the difference between mind and brain at that time, and I understand what I'm saying now. I knew something was wrong. Because my nature was kicking against it. So one incident happened that kind of brought it home, because I was in Vietnam, right? And I shouldn't even say this much because then it kind of confused the issue. But I smoked more marijuana over there than you than you smoke a lifetime. I'm not gonna make any excuses. I ain't knowing it. Everybody else was doing it. Like, that's not a good excuse, but nobody told me it was wrong. Everybody was doing it. Everybody, right? I mean, we'd be sitting out there at night, right? Everybody getting high. The MPs, the military police, come out there, hey, man, what's going on? Look around, hey man, give me a hit. They were doing it. These are military police. Right? I mean, that's good. That's what made me feel good. So I thought it was great. Once I was looking for Elijah, I realized, hey man, I ain't saying anything the Bible said was wrong. I was into the Bible deep. Anyway, and that has a way. You see, that I shouldn't say it because some people go crazy on this one. But that has a kind of way of getting your nature to emerge. Because see, the mind you got, it get confused, so then your nature gets a chance to kick in and overcome it. So my nature started kicking in. And so all of a sudden, I'm starting to, my nature's already strong. I was already had problems with these people. But then at that time, man, my slave name was Lee, L-E-E, right? And so, and in Vietnam, right, L-E, that's a Vietnamese name too, just L-E, Lee. They may pronounce it Lee, whatever. And I'm getting more militant, right? This just before I start focusing on Elijah, look for Elijah, right? But I stopped smoking by that time, and this is a long story. But the bottom line is, and so, and like I said, I was into the Bible. And so I got to the point where I was saying, man, we must be a true seed of Abraham. I don't know where that came from. I'm going to tell you why. I'm not sure why, but so Like I said, I was smoking that stuff heavy. I mean, I didn't smoke cigarettes, right? But I used to have a pack because they used to take and modify it and take this tobacco out, make it real fine like a coffee, and put it in a pack in, you know. That's what Mama Son did downtown. And you about $5, man. I carry a pack. I didn't smoke cigarettes regularly. How come you always got sick back all the time, man? You don't smoke. I was dumb as hell, right? But I was militant. And so I changed my name tag. And I just changed it. I went and got my name tag, changed to L.E. Boy, did they come down on me. The officer, what the hell? Who are you? What? You a Vietnamese? Boy, they went off. They threw my ass in jail. I would not change. They said, you better change. You gave me a strict order. I didn't change nothing. Because I was never afraid to begin with. That's an whole story together. For some reason, I guess because my father was so hardcore that after he passed, I was never afraid of anything. I never have been. That's one thing he gave me. He was hardcore, boy. I tell you, that 5 years with my father, boy, woo. But after him, man, nobody could make me. Because what he put on my behind for 5 years, right, nobody could. I said, if I can handle it, I can handle anything. That's why I said sometimes, some things, right, I ain't putting him down. I wish I could have knew him, right, because he passed when I was 14 years old. But he was converting just before. I didn't know that anyway. So he did all that. And so then they sent me to see and this is why I'm telling you about it, because this is the only way I remember it. And I remember this because it's this incident. They sent me to see the major, right? Because I had been before that, I was rebellious, but I was still a sharp soldier. I mean, I took care of business, right? I never did anything half-ass. And so they called me and said, hey, Lee, what's going on? I mean, it was going by, you changed the name and everything, man. I told him where I came from. I said, I think we're the true savior, Black was a real true Abraham. I think we you know, and that's why I remember that, because, you know, you remember, you forget a lot of stuff. That's why I remember that, because I told him that. Now, I don't know at what point, all I know is at that point I told him that. Now, I don't know where that came from, whatever, but I know I was thinking that along those lines. And I was actually, I think it was Howard I told him that. Yeah, because that was just before they threw my ass in jail. And I talked to him, because he couldn't get me to change my name. I just said, L.E. No, man, your name is L.E.E. I said, well, it's my name, ain't it? It's my name. But that was me. And I was always, see the major. Yeah. So that was my nature. There was a conflict between my nature and mine, because that marijuana gets your mind all messed up. So my mind, I guess, was failing, so my nature emerged. Because that's what I was operating on, my nature. Because I still had their mind. I didn't have the angel mind. I didn't have Elijah's mind. That's why I was mind. I just had this sealed Bible mind. I knew there was something wrong with it. But that's the only mind I had. And when I was reading the Bible, I was reading the sealed Bible. But even when I read the sealed Bible, I still didn't come with what they came up with. Right. But like I said, I came to the conclusion that we're true Abraham. You know, yeah. But the point is, they came after me so hard after that, because I wasn't acting. I was acting, and by me saying something like that, see, I didn't realize that time, but that was like dropping an atomic bomb, because we ain't supposed to know that kind of stuff. Because that's why they killed Martin Luther King when he got a Promised Land speech, and the next day was dead. See, I didn't know what I was saying, because I said I didn't know all this stuff at the time, and I didn't know that they knew it. That's why it set up false Israel. And so I was dropping an atomic bomb and didn't realize it. Because ultimately, that's what it's all about. The tribulation, everything was about. Because what I just said right there, and I said it before I knew anything about Elijah, before I knew anything about anything else. I just sealed Bible, and I got it from out of that sealed Bible. That's where I got it from. Like I said, I don't know all the particulars. Like I said, it was a long time ago. And the only reason I remember, I don't remember all the things that go with it. I remember because I remember telling him that, and he looked at me. The way he looked at me, they threw my ass in jail after that. And man, I didn't understand why their reaction was so. It was in fear. Okay, man, this guy's waking up. didn't know I was waking up. I didn't know there was fear in that. I didn't know about Elijah Muhammad. So I'm saying, sometimes you gotta be very careful. Be careful, you don't know what you're being careful about. You're dropping that right there. That is what all it's all about right now, is keeping you from having that knowledge. I just said back there, when I was ignorant as hell, getting high. I understood that back there, reading the sealed Bible now, so I could get that back there. Back there, not know anything about Elijah, not know anything about Malcolm, not anything about the Nation of Islam, not know anything about Angel, right? And high as hell. And I think I was about 19 years old at the time. And I could figure out, what the F what's your problem? You know what I'm saying? You making this up, that's exactly what happened. And I paid the price for it, and I didn't back down. I did not back down. Let me out of jail and everything else, right? Didn't I do it first chance I got? It took an R&R, right? And you could take an R&R from Vietnam to Hawaii, to Australia, I took one to Hawaii, because I knew once I get to Hawaii, I can get back home from there, and that was the last time you saw me. Look for Elijah. Young, don't know anything. Got GED. I studied before I took a test. I'm in the military. That was dumb right there. I didn't know anything about civil rights movement, anything. I'm in Vietnam. In the military almost 4 years at a time. Getting high as hell. I was into the Bible. Because I said, I need something. I had no parents. I said, let me follow the guidance on his thing. I stopped eating pork. I was doing whatever the Bible said. I stopped doing it. It didn't say don't smoke weed. Right? And I dropped the atomic bomb on them then, and I didn't realize it. And then you've heard all this stuff. You heard the injury, Elijah, all these other things, the civil rights, all this stuff, and you're still walking around. So it's kind of hard for me to say, just wrote right off, say, well, you don't have your mind back. And that's why I'm saying I didn't have my mind either. But my nature was strong enough to ride that bullshit, because that's where I had to come from. Where else could it come from? And that gives the same story in Mark. It was his nature that drove him to Jesus, because he didn't have his mind. He said what he recognized with his nature, it got strong enough, right, that he could hear his master's call. He said, yeah, man, I feel that, man. I'm going to check that out. His nature. And that's what's happening right now. People's nature's emerging. They get more energy. The nature's emerging. And now they're angry. They don't know. They're confused. And they're angry. They don't know why. Something's wrong. Complaining. The church is not getting bigger. The church is emptying out. You better check it out. They're looking for the answers. That gets back to the Nation of Islam. Said, damn. Now, how can they be all messed up? Elijah didn't give him a new mind. He gave him what mastery lived, the lessons, but he mostly was building nature up. Because they wouldn't get their mind until the message of the covenant come. Nature would give enough power to overcome their minds. But it wasn't enough. Because Farrakhan came in, he said, how in the hell did that happen? Because there's nothing, even in the devil's mind, that confirms any of that bullshit he's talking about. Nothing. Well, no, let me back up. Right? There's nothing in there that backs up him claiming to be who he claims he is. But it does back up all that bullshit talking about, yeah, well, we got love master and all that kind of stuff, right? Well, it's not that clear cut. You understand, brothers and sisters? That's what fear. Because they're going to attack you. It says their hearts be filled. Because you, what are they going to see over there? What are they going to see over there? That's going to cause them to have, it doesn't tell you what they see, it tells you the powers have been broken, but it doesn't define it. Let's go here and look at this. See what it says? Men's hearts failing them for fear, for looking at those things that are coming on earth, for the powers heavily shaken. Now, the bottom line here is their powers is shaken. So that means if your powers, remember, the more power you have over something, the more control, the less control, the more fear you have of it, because you don't know what it's going to do. So they see they're losing power. Their power is shaken. Power for what? Power for the Middle East. See, you don't know how important the Middle East is. They got oil over here. Well, why are they over there then? Because the whole society is fueled by oil. Without oil, this whole society goes back to the Stone Age. They got all those, and they right now they got all that control over the Middle East. Okay? So, well, even if America, all they say it has, see, even it has it. Well, that means Europe won't have any oil because they don't have that oil. Russia does, but Europe doesn't. So if America have oil, then they got a problem. Because they have to share with Europe. So therefore, it's still going to be a problem because if they share with you, that means you're going to have oil here. You're going to have very little. You're going to pay $100, $200, $300, $400 a gallon. I'm just going to version that, but it tells you chapter 18 tells you how the total economic collapse. Total economic collapse. Oh boy, here we go to the camera stuff again. So, what are they going to see over there? What event going to happen over there? That's going to translate in their mind is that they're losing power. That significant power that means something. I mean, not like say I lost power over my garden. No, they lose power with something significant that's going to be harmful to them. In other words, right? So you got a lion, you got it on the tame, or you got a dog, and then all of a sudden that's suddenly feared. Right? But if you got some weeds in the garden, you lose control of your garden. That's not, you don't like it, but that's not, you ain't going. It's not life threatening. But what they see right here is going to be life threatening, because it's going to cause heart attacks or strokes. Something they're going to witness there that's going to cause this life threatening that they're going to witness in a few more days. When that war takes place, when that war breaks out, they're going to witness something about that war that's going to come. It's going to hit them right between the eyes. Okay? What is it? I know one thing, because false Israel, right? That was the thing, that was like the cornerstone, right? With another way of saying it. Okay. They with an object of their fear, because they transform us 100%. 100%. They fear us. And there's all kinds of ways I could explain that, but they fear us. So they change 100%. And they make sure that we're going to act like them. The laws, we act like them. Because they even say it. If you read the Constitution, it says we can only be free around them as long as we obey law. Because if we break the law, they can put us back into slavery. It says right, don't take my word for this, Google it. So if I'm saying don't make any sense, just read that. That's what I'm saying right now. Because if you don't act like they want you to act, act like them, they can put you right back in chains. So the thing is that they got ways to say, okay, see something to say something, ways, because they got this lion tamed and it got him in a cage. Maybe let him walk around outside the cage, but they got ways of knowing that lion is converted to wild, because they know if they do it, they get put in, that lion's gonna kill somebody. You know, as long as that lion's tame, under control, then he can walk around. He sits around these pictures, they have people hugging on lions and out. But they have ways to say, sign, because they want to know first. They don't want to find out that lions turn wild after they become lion shit. Now they ate them. So the thing is, that's why it says flee when you see certain things. Because what they see, remember, you got a whole nation that they fear us 100%. That's why they change us, so they wouldn't fear us. So when you say it, that's why you got to be careful. Once they change it, they don't fear you anymore, because you don't fear the lion no more once it's tame. Right? But what you do fear is it becoming untamed. So they fear that we might revert back to ourselves. Put that away. Don't fear us. As long as we sit around here, my name is Jimmy Knickerbotham. Hello, white people. I hate niggers. So forth, so on. See what I'm saying? So, here's the chain. Good morning. Yeah, going, boss. Fist bump, yeah, bro. Bro. They know you tame. Know you butt broken. But if you don't do that, like I don't do it, that's why at the gym, they fear me. Everybody, this brother told me, well, you know, because he coming around a little bit. So he told me all the day, he says, I knew he was doing it anyway. He said, they always tell me, what's wrong here? Why he so? Talking about me, ask him. I knew it, because he always around him all the time, right? What's wrong with him? Why he so mean? Because I don't talk to him. I ain't anything to do with them. I know who they are. So they're afraid of me. It used to be for a while when I first started going to the gym, right? So I don't buy cars. I lease them, right? And so, and every 2 or 3 years I lease a new car, right? And they was keying my car. Yeah. And the main one was doing was a nigga. Right? He moved back. He's from here, but he moved to Africa. And another story. Because, hey, I don't have their name. I don't talk to them. They speak, I don't speak back. Right? I do speak to the staff, because I mean, that's their place. I got to be nice. I want to go to the gym, right? But it's totally on the business level. Period. Not personal. That fear. So once you start come to guess, right? Watch and see you be born, because that means you're not in control. Because now you come out the womb, they don't have control of you anymore. You see the analogy there? In the womb, they had total control of you, and you was totally dependent upon them. You was happy in the womb. It was nice, cold, nice, warm, and everything up in there. Start sticking here, oh, lose control. Can't lose. They can't afford to lose any control. I mean, you can't let that lion just be out of control a little bit. Otherwise, he's going to eat you up a little bit. He got to be total under control. Any signs, and they put him down. Any signs, they put him down. That's what's happening, brothers and sisters. So your fear is going to come in. See, their fear is you reverting back to yourself. And your fear is them attacking you. You're disorganized and everything else. That's why you got to be bored. Somebody's got to be there to bring you back together quick. Get your mind back, bring you back together for your protection. Because somebody's attacking you, definitely going to be fear unless you know they can't, because you don't realize they can't do anything to you. Okay? That's what's happening, brother and sister. That's why I said fear is going to affect everybody. It's going to affect everybody differently. But it's a great fear coming in. So, but they see, what are they going to see over there? One of the signs they have, like I said, you didn't realize you treated Abraham. That means you're waking up. Because I'm going to be acting like a damn lamb. I'm a goddamn lion. Ooh, I want that lion to figure that one out. I should be eating these people. You see, that lion gets his mind back. They in trouble. You see what I'm saying? So the false sisters up there to keep saying, no, no, no. You're not the true Abraham. We are. You're not lying. Okay. You're something else, but you're not lying, because that's what. Okay. So that's what they're going to see over there. Powers have been breaking, because they got all their power over there to keep that going, keep that line tame, right? To keep that mind set, false Israel, so you never get, that's your mind locked up, because that's the key right there. False Israel is the key to keep your mind locked up. That's the key to keep your mind locked up, false Israel. You got your mind in a cage, and that's the key. If that key breaks, your mind comes out of that cage. And as soon as it give you a right mind, but your mind got to come out of that cage first. And that's the key. And that key is broken, the cage doors fly open, and you come out roaring. Ooh, a exceeding great army. A exceeding great army. But remember now, at that time, it's not going to happen, it's happened. So what kind of fear will they be then? Remember, they feel in anticipation, but now you've arrived. Exceeding great army. And what kind of fear they have there? I tell you. It said if you're going to do double than what they did to you, and they've realized that, and not a damn thing to do about it, what kind of fear you think they have then? You see, I'm trying to put this in perspective for you, brothers. How you understand this? Their fear can be off the page. I mean, many of them already, with thousands, tens of thousands, already had strokes, heart attacks, suicide. Suicide is part of this. When they realize that you see Abraham, their fear is going to be insurmountable. Because look at all the stuff to come with that. That means they haven't been following, they haven't been doing God's will, they've been doing Satan's will. And Jesus ain't come back to help them. You see, all this stuff floods in on their mind at the same time, and they can't handle it. We're evil, we're devils. They're God's people. And all the stuff that we done to them now is going to be done to us, double. Because they don't understand all this, because it says, this gospel preaching all the world, angel, and the angels have word for gospel. And so they don't understand this. There's nothing they can do about it. It's going to overwhelm them. They're in division. And there's no way to get out of it. No way you can get out of it at all. And they ain't going to, right? It said, I'm going to commit suicides and not be able. Because it's going to be so overwhelming. That's the fear I'm trying to get you to understand that, brothers and sisters. And then I'm going to do another angle here, then I'm going to go, brothers and sisters. I had lots to talk about, but I'm going to say, I know you understand this because, like I said, I started initially telling you, most of you hate me for what I'm saying. Why you talking about them devils like that? We have to give them. Jesus said, forgive them. Well, then you talking that stuff over there. He just hate white people. Can't get over it. Like I was saying initially, right? If you look at your condition, if you look in the mirror, the only person responsible, right, is you, the bottom line, because we're responsible for this. Because we submit to this. We didn't have to submit to this. Right? So we really can't blame the devils for this. Oh, is that accusing our people? See, the math is just too complicated for you, brothers and sisters. It says, they would afflict us. They're being judged for the affliction, not the servitude, for the affliction. But we knew they was going to afflict us. We allowed it to happen. You see what I'm saying, brothers and sisters? It's not as simple as you think. See? Because you think mathematically, then it all makes sense. Like none of this stuff makes sense. Because why is America help us false Israel? Oh, none of stuff. Why do people go to the border? Once you understand injury, all that makes sense. But ask a question means they're confused. Help false Israel because they're the key to keeping their fear under control. Because we are their fear. We're their consequence. We are their fear. If you got lions running around the house, that's your fear. As long as that's why keep them tame. Because if you mess around, go to sleep, and next thing he revert. That's your ass. I'll keep out on them. They're gonna understand we're their consequence, and you can't fight consequence. So we control this whole thing. So it says, then we're responsible for all of this. Okay. Right. Everything's in our control. Yes. Okay. But such thing as dirt, right? You don't want dirt on you. Wash it off. So, put it this way. We're the winter, we're the summer, and they're the winter people. I mean, we're the spring, and they're winter people. So the winter, we had to go along the winter to survive, to make it to the spring, right? But without a choice, go to the winter. So we blame the winter because we chose to go to the winter? No. But when the spring comes, you want to get rid of the winter, don't you? Don't need it, get rid of it. That's a whole other way of looking at it, brothers and sisters. They're only evil if we allow them into the spring. As long as when it's here, they was righteous. All the stuff they were doing. If you read the Quran, you know what the Quran says? They make mischief, they perceive. They give you little hints. They talking about devils there, but they don't say it directly. So that's why I said. That's why Adam was chosen. Said, "Okay, no, you righteous, because it's the winter. So that cold shit you're doing, that's righteous, because it's winter time. But if we let your ass into the spring, that's our fault." You step in the refrigerator in the spring and freeze, that's your ass. Nobody told you stepping in there. You step in them ice box. Now, I mean, froze. Well, what are you stepping in the ice box for? It's spring. What the hell are you do that for? You understand what I'm saying, brothers and sisters? So we see, it's like, let me talk about a couple of things. I'm just talking about this because, like I said, I said I pretty much ain't everything else to say. So I'm just still deciding why I should even say anything else, because I said this thing is so hot over there right now. It's going to blow. It might be blowing now because everybody says it's going to blow. It's about to blow. It's super hot over there right now, right? Over the Middle East. So we're responsible for our situation. But see, back 50,000 years ago, all the tribes got together and says, how are we going to deal with this? They knew it was coming. How are we going to deal with it? Everybody had the different. Everybody wanted to somehow, they know they couldn't stop it. So the best way to deal with it. And so we decided to take full brunt because we knew if we took a full brunt, it'd be transformative and we upgrade to another level and just become gods. I said, man, I'm going to move it. I'm going to come over to the other side of the planet. They won't find out. They won't find out about the other side of the planet. We have 45,500 years, right? Before they figure out, find the other side of the planet over there, so we can escape them for that long. 45,000, say that right? 45,500? So it's okay, so we had to worry about them for that period of time. But we had to worry about the last 500 years. According to Matt's promise, some went to Mars, right? Some of them changed their mindset, adopt a lower mind because it requires less energy. Hinduism, Buddhism. Everybody had different ideas. That's mathematics, if you don't know. Because it takes energy for a mind. That's one of the reasons why now we have enough energy to have. Because even 100 years ago, you couldn't give us the energy of mind anyway. Because we didn't have enough energy because it takes energy for a mind. Anyway. So everybody has different ideas. So like, say, man, if we go to heaven, man, they're gonna exploit our women. They're gonna rape our women. Say, man, I ain't gonna have them doing that. Because that's, So they said, no, we're gonna hold our nation together. See, maybe that's Hindus or whatever. Mars, all these different things. We said, no, we're gonna take a full. If you study Genesis, the last 500 years, this process take place the last 500 years. And that's us. But we had to go through. So we took a full brunt because we know, right? It'd be transformative. And we know the apocalypse will be, right? Apocalypse was right after that. In other words, the heart, at the end of this whole period, it'd be apocalypse, it'd be a great war, worst war ever, time of unprecedented trouble. Like the Bible says, the pressure be so intense. The quality of pressure be so intense. The quantity be intense too, but the quality be so intense. Why? Because the people who win the people, they're going to want to survive. They're contrary to us. And they're going to do everything they can to try. So it means you have two opposing forces. They're resisting each other. Resistance pressure. Their resistance be so great that more than we ever anticipated, ever, unprecedented. But by we going through the Holocaust, we made ourselves so strong that we could withstand that pressure of the apocalypse. Other ones couldn't. We transformed the diamonds. Other ones couldn't. That's what they all be wiped out. Because when that happens, the intense pressure when they come, because they don't know, when the Holocaust, they put everything they could against us. Holocaust is unprecedented. We took it all. Everything they did, everything they possibly could do to us. So at time when pressed in trouble, they can't do any more. They've done everything they can. So therefore we could withstand it. But they're going to be doing that to everybody. Try to drop the atomic bomb. It's not going to work, but they're going to do it. They're going to come with everything. And not only them, because they're going to be the first ones. Then come the Orientals, remember? They're going to want to survive too, but the pressure could be on them. They're going to be resist, because remember, when we start coming out, remember, we start being ourselves. That's right now our nature is inconsistent. It's consistent with theirs, so there's no resistance. Once you get injured, nature is going to be contrary to everybody on the planet, because everybody on the planet is consistent with theirs. Make it simple as possible. Adam has made everybody except the jinn, right? Their minds consistent with theirs, so it's very little resistance. Even it's very little resistance even from the jinn, right? Because they have control of their mind indirectly through the Quran. Remember, the Quran is the moon. This is very complicated, but I don't know if I should go too deep to this. But they still have control, not directly. Because they said, we got the Quran, but they don't realize the Quran is just the moon and the sealed Bible, and it's almost saying the same damn thing. Okay? So their resistance is minimal. But it's not enough, because who controls who? I mean, the devil's still controlling. In fact, they got almost total control of them, not as much as us. Because it says, remember it says, until the power of the holy people is broken, that's an all straw together. You understand what I'm saying, brothers and sisters? So the whole world, in general, their mind is consistent. So they adopt it, except like the jinn has an exception, but, right? But they are, how can I say it? The bottom line, just hold on to that one, because I'm sure. The bottom line, aside from the jinn, and they're in control too. We know they have control. I'm just trying to explain to you the quality of that control. It's the Quran, because it's the moon, but they really explain that in detail. I'm not sure I'm going to do it right here. But the bottom line is they are the control. They are the control. We can, right? So that means the devil's mind is over creating their minds. Right? So every mind is consistent. Right? Only their mind is a little more resistant than everybody else's mind, because the Chinese mind, their mind a little resistant because they got communism, right? But it's still, in general, because who's fueling this reality? The jinn. So it's getting more complicated. I don't want to divert here. The bottom line is, all the minds are generally consistent with Adam's mind. So is ours. Because we have the devil's mind. They may have 99% out there. Chinese may have 90%, right, or whatever. But we 100%. Okay? But yet still, we convert to diamonds. Now, once we get our mind back, our nature is made strong, super strong. Nature. See? Now we get the mind is consistent with our nature. So we had a conflict. Because right now, nature is conflicted with our mind, because we're getting angry. Because that man, But once you get the mind, then your nature emerges totally contrary to everybody's on the planet. Everybody. But the devil's the most. You gotta come. The demons and devils, you gotta take them out first. They're the ones first. Remember, resistance, that's war between the two. Resistance is war. Extreme resistance, resistance can be war. Well, it's war, but on what level, right? But it'd be a unprecedented war because you got to go tribulation, and so two armies fighting against two opposing armies, and then Orientals, and so forth, because you got that. See? And that's fear, because again, right? They lose control of us. We gain control. So I fear, initially, fear, like I said, the fear is going to affect everybody. But we grow out of our fear because we get stronger and stronger and stronger. We start getting more control. The more control you get, the less fear you have. And I make it clear enough for everybody else. So everybody, fear is going to affect everybody. But you're going to grow out of it. Because the more control you get, the less fear you're going to have. Because when you come out, you're going to have a lot of fear because you have no control. You have control of your mind, you get your mind, and then you start, fear start dissipating because now you got your mind, you got your mind in control. And that's right now you have your mind in control. And your mind's conflicted with your body. So you're at war with yourself. Because your mind, your spirit, your nature, and your mind, they conflict with each other, so you're at war with yourself. And you full of fear in yourself as you go, you right? I'm losing my mind. And then you start out with that fear, but as you get strong and more control over them, that fear goes away, affects, or goes, we have total control. But their fear increases. They're losing more and more control. Fear just get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. You understand, brothers and sisters? I think I'm going to leave it there. But we have another situation. I'm going to talk about this in general. See, I talk about regeneration, what some people call it, what the Hindus call it, reincarnation, whatever. But we don't come back as horses and all that kind of stuff, right? Right? But we as a people, we have the ability to live forever. But that's limited because, like I said, all the people on the planet right now, when you break it down, is Abraham. See, we're having all those people that was with Abraham. They're all gone. They didn't make it. So we're all Abraham is, right? Because, I mean, even Yaakov's people, because they came out of our seed, we Abraham, right? Okay, then we go to the Holocaust. Some of our people, some of their seed, remember you got Abraham's seed, but then you got different branches, right? So all the branches ain't going to make it. All the branches ain't going to make it. Okay? And like I said, if you're a brain cell, you're going to be a brain cell. You ain't going to come back a foot cell. Right? So you regenerate, you're going to still be part of the body, but you're going to be a brain cell. If you're a brain cell, you're a brain cell again. So we have, for us, a priest is the one that gets information about the season and pass it on to the God who controls the nation. Not dictatorial. He controls that, just like your nervous system controls your body. It can control it as a dictator. No, it tells about a coordinator. It coordinates the body. Put it that way. It coordinates the body. Say, okay, you need to do this, hand do this. We got to run. So your feet, you got to move your feet, right? And you got to get your heart move fast. You got to lung move fast. We got to run. So that you make call the coordinator. That's the God. But you got to get information from the high priest. And then you got the organs, because we got bodies compartmentalized, right? And that's where the kings come in, the king and queens. Because the nervous system takes us, okay, send us to the king of the heart. And he takes us, so translate that to what the heart needs. So tell, hey, heart, be faster. See, because he gets the heart gets the same signal. The king of the heart gets the same signal the king of the lungs get, but they two different functions. So he got to translate to the function so that they can recognize. And that's where the kings come in. That's our system. So everything is coordinated. Everything's in sync. Okay, so as king, he concentrates on this. A king, and everybody works together. Okay. And so we went into deprivation, right? We lost control because we have enough energy. So once we start resurrected, that's why I said Melchizedek, he's a priest live forever. So the same priest, he was just, so they have to order Melchizedek. But that means the same person. He just died and came back. If you read the story correctly, then you got the kings, you got the queens, you got the nervous system, the God. So then, when the body starts, right, that means first the brain's got enough energy, because the brain's got all this, so the brain can take and find out what's going on. That's what angel is. What's going on? Get that mind so it knows, angel tell you exactly what's going on, where we are in time, and everything. Okay, now pass it on to the nervous system. Nervous system pass it on to the kings. You see? I said, hey man, I thought you told to give it. See, I'm not. See, some people, first they want you to explain, when you're talking, they want you to spell every word out, and they don't listen to you anyway. So I'm not going to waste time with that. Right. Anyway, that's where it's supposed to work. So if some reason a king doesn't work, then the heart. But see, the king, is like an ability. So around the king, there's other cells that's similar to the king, right? That can sort of function as well as the king, but can sort of function. See? It gets more complicated than that because, remember, if the cells keep generating cells, so when you take, okay, for instance, okay, you're a eye cell, right? Now your body regenerates itself every 7 years. So when your waste, your solid waste, most has dead cells. But a cell dies and is replaced by an identical cell, right? But that cell's like in embryonic stage, has to grow. So until that, the cells around has to do what that cell's doing. You understand? So I'll leave it that way. So you have that situation. Now, for some reason that cell doesn't form, and none of those cells perform, the heart dies, or the lung dies, the whole body dies. That's why we do it that way, because otherwise you put on one cell, that cell, the whole body dies. Can't have that. So that's why you got, it's like a group cell there. It's like a conduit. Now, there's some curious things in there, because it says, we have this situation, we got a hybrid situation, where we have the Shabazz. This whole thing was designed different tribe of Shabazz. And then the Levites said, okay, hey man, they got to caught on to it, say, man, because remember, everybody decided how they want to deal with the deprivation. So all Levites didn't say, all right, man, yeah, we're going to. Somebody said, no, man, they didn't agree with their king. They didn't agree with their God, Lucifer, because he's the God of the Levites. Lucifer and Satan, and they're not different, they're different people. They get all messed up. Because Lucifer he was an archangel, he was perfect. And then he became jealous. That's another story. Jealous of his brother, Jacob. That's Esau. Anyway. So they said, we're going to be part of this. Okay, so then we made room and graphed them. It's okay. We're going to do this. You're going to serve these functions though. Okay. We'll let you serve these functions, your heart, these different functions. And we move up and take these other functions. Right? So you graft it in. So they go to the Holocaust and everything else. And then the body started regenerating, right? So the brain comes back in the consciousness of itself. It gets the angel, right? The keys come in consciousness themselves, so forth, so on. Then they got to get the information from the brain, right? Got to get the scripture that remember, scripture is the minds, scriptural minds. And then the main mind, angel, you got sub-minds, because we're body, and the body is made up of different parts. That's why you got sub-minds, sub-books in the book. And so this book said, okay, this book is concentrating, it's part of the body, it's part of the angel, right? And you have to still know the angel, it's just, you have to know it from this perspective. You have to focus on this much. See? The brain has to function, copy the whole thing, but he has to focus a lot on this, the heart side, or the lung side. So they get those, and then they don't perform. Then you got a problem. Because they say, my people are lost for, they say some of my people are lost for lack of knowledge. They say some, or does it say my people are lost for lack of knowledge? That means all Levites going to be lost? Is that what I mean? It says some of my people say my people are lost for lack of knowledge. Because the Levite kings don't perform, then that part of the party dies, but we have backup. Because, remember, Shabazz, they're taken out. Elect, they were taken out of here. So they wouldn't have been separated from the rest of the body if they couldn't fulfill those parts, if necessary. If they couldn't departmentalize, okay, now, they ain't with us anymore. So, y'all gonna have to, right, start performing this function of heart cells, because they weren't written originally. Just since they was doing it, they was upgrade to something else. So, if that's what I said. If you look at the angel key, the only one you need is the first two levels, because my people are lost for lack of knowledge. Because then the Levite kings didn't perform. What? Because they love this mind too much. Love the devil's mind too much. Love devils too much. Because you see, Ishmael is not a Levite. Wait a minute, he is a Levite, excuse me. But he's not a demon. He loves devils. Gives them everything else. We know Farrakhan's a demon, but Ishmael ain't. And so when you put something in the furnace, that's why I said they purified it. They what they called the silver. Purify them as gold. So in other words, you had to be, when you put gold or silver in the furnace, you put to burn off impurities. But if the whole thing's impure, the whole thing melts. That's the question. We're going to see how it plays out. See how it plays out. Because this is not a game. It's mathematics. It's not a game. It's not about friendships. Because it says, Suleiman said, all his children be lost, all of them. The four winds blow them all away. And that's the story of Job. But Job said, don't tell Job, don't worry about it. You can have more beautiful children than that. Same thing told Noah. Noah Suleiman again, right? His son came, he said, begged, said, come on, son, now I'm going to high mountain. So God told me, forget about him. He's an embodiment of unrighteous conduct. Because you've been taught to think emotionally, and that upsets you emotionally. That's part of the reason, because you will kill them. Oh, look at the little children, the little babies. See, that's what's going over. See, that's one of the problems going on in the Middle East right now. This thing called Amalek. Look up this Amalek. See, they was amateurs killer women, children, dogs, cats, everything. Killer toes, toenails. Especially children, everything else. And so remember, they pretend to be us. So that's why they think they doing God's will, killing everything. But they said, well, we going to do that? See? Says we're going to eradicate, because Elijah Muhammad told you one of the problems why they turned white over there, because our women was dealing emotionally, and they hid the babies when they was forced out back up to Europe. They hid the babies there, and now they almost all white over there now. So once you understand they're devils, and little devils got to be big devils, some of you not going to be able to do that. That's cool. Well, how does God deal with those things according to the Bible? When the flood came, he said, okay, let's just say little babies, or he flooded them too. He drowned them too. How about in Sodom and Gomorrah? When Lot and them ran out, God go and get the little babies? No, he burned them up too. They don't tell you like that because they know God love everybody. So with the mind you have, I don't want that mind then. Okay, well then you keep the mind you got. Because nobody gives a goddamn whether you accept or not. You don't understand that. If you don't accept good, they won't have to worry about your ass no more. We want the best, the perfect, think it mathematically. Those are the ones we want. Because anybody tell you that knows me, over 30 years I've been had plenty of fathers I want to, I get rid of them. Because I don't want no bullshit. If you ain't 100%, get the hell away from me. I ain't got time for your bullshit. I run people away. I don't want them. In fact, like I said, I know the people that's beneficial won't come until the end anyway. Mm-hmm. Then some come and then they don't perform. And all kinds of excuses, all kinds of stuff. There's no excuses. I don't make excuses. All kinds of shit happening in my life. You hear me talking about it. I talk about it like, oh, by the way, to give you some understand how things expect to work. All kinds of stuff happening in my life. I don't talk about it. Got time for it. Get information out. If you you know, when you go to war, it's 100%. Either you die or the enemy die. If you hesitate, you're dead. You know, back in so-called Civil War, you know, they had devils fighting devils, their own brothers. I don't know, brothers and sisters. We'll see. Because the only one that's going to make it. Right? And right now, the way I see it, no, these Levites, I don't know. That's not my call. Because they have to decide whether they're going to make it or not. He said the ladder was set up, you're going to climb it. Push my build time is over. You're going to rise up, you're going to climb it. Remember, you're supposed to be a God now. You're going to be explaining things. Not ask me. I can deal with questions. You shouldn't have to, I don't mind doing that, but I don't get any questions anyway. So I hope you understand something maybe. But right now, like I said, you got that devil's mind. You got that dog mind, so you hate your own people. You hate your own self. And now you have minds, but Master Muhammad get ready to shut that mind down. Because that mind is fueled by two things primarily. False Israel to deceive you, and the oil in the Middle East that fuels it. Those two primary things, right? And Christianity that justifies it. And all two of them are definitely going to go down. False Israel goes down, it's going to kick that, that's going to knock that fear. Because all you know, oh, the game is up, the jig is up. Phase one, bam, the second punch, This whole reality come the same source from Master Muhammad pulls both triggers. Destroys false Israel. Because now all of a sudden they lose control of us. That mind is shattered. We not to that mind that gets wrong. And now someone's here to give you right mind. And your nature's going to accept it. Because that makes, because now you're going to be, the other mind's gone. So you ain't got no conflict between you and that other mind because it's gone. You shattered it. When you kill false, you shattered that mind. Shattered it. So there's no conflict between your nature and it. So now your nature's looking for your real mind. And there's somebody there to give it to you. You see? And when they share that mind, that means fear, because all of a sudden they lose control. When that mind is shared, they lose control because all of a sudden their control, that was the key to lock your mind. The key is gone. So it was locking your mind down. Now your mind's free because it's gone. Now your nature's right on steroids. They look around. Right? And then somebody just give your mind. Those two together. But their fear comes as soon as they see that sign, their fear, because all of a sudden they lose control of you. Lose control of you because they control you through your mind. And now that key, you have the keys. The key is broken. The powers have been broken. Forces is going down. That was keeping your mind locked down. Now it's going. That fear, great fear comes on them. And you're the consequence. And all the shit they done is, and someone's broadcasting. Fear's increasing like crazy. And on top of that, right? They don't come at you with their power, the power they have left. Right? Destroy you, and then that breaks that, because all of a sudden the economy just collapsed. Then the plane, the train, all that stuff don't work anymore. So now the fear increases. Damn. They're afraid of us. And then their weapons, no weapon will prosper because it won't work. And what do happen, they over fighting Armageddon over in Europe. So they have great, and they have no way to defend themselves. Because the source that fuels it, the tools of defense is gone. So their fear becomes astronomical. Here you come, and here's the lions coming at your ass, and they have no place to hide, and no gun, not defend themselves, and here a pack of lions coming at them. And they have no way to defend themselves and nowhere to hide. You understand? That's what's about to happen here, brothers and sisters. Any day now. And every day, because your fear is going to be, because when they attack, you're going to be afraid. Flee. Why are you fleeing? If you wasn't afraid, you would be fleeing. You're going to be in grave. That's why I said panic. That's why I said panic. You panic, you're fearing. So you're going to be in fear. That's why you're fleeing, because you're going to be in great fear too initially, because they're going to be attacking you. And once you get your mind back, though, the fear going to start disappearing, because now you're starting to get control. By the time you make it through the tribulation, if you make it, you'll be no fear. You'll be totally in control. Okay? And that's what your kings are supposed to be doing, preparing for that, and they haven't been doing that. And that's going to cause even more fear than you would normally have, because they haven't been doing that. Remember, they're the same people that was your kings before. All of a sudden now, right? They love this world of life or whatever. My mama says, I don't know if I should say this or not. You know, when you read that story about Mark, it also applies to them. Maybe I'll spare no time. Excuse me. Well, maybe I'll speak for a little bit. Remember, they saw Jesus from afar. So you read it like from a distance. No. From afar. And because he come, all was supposed to happen. So he saw him before it happened. That's me afar. He's talking about time frame, not distant time frame. So they saw him early. And they came and submitted, but they didn't have their mind. Remember, they didn't have their mind, but they came and submitted. And then he gave them their mind, and then they was told to go back and give everybody else their mind. That's talking about them too. What if they don't do that? I can get more into that, but I'm going to leave it there for now. But that's up to them. Because Levites, they wanted to get grafts onto us. So it's okay. We're not going to let them pull us down. Everybody's got troubles. And believe me, that's why it says, myself the sins of the world. It means of every kind of trouble there is. And part of the reason why that is so, when time comes, anybody comes and say, ain't got right here. Well, you talking about, like they said, the man was upset because he had no shoes. So he ran to the man had no feet. Because just everything that could happen, I've experienced. Growing up an orphan, no parents. See her mother pass away when she's 26 years old. She was a child when she had me. I was 9 years old when she passed. Father 14. Got my little sister. We all owned the right. Everybody was against us. I mean, I don't want to go into that kind of stuff. And I ain't complained about it. It happened. And then I don't like it. There's no excuses to move on. Because everybody needs me. And so I'm doing the job. And so I'm not angry at my people. I understand them. I understand why they hate themselves. I understand why they hate me. Their nature don't hate me. I love them. Their nature don't hate me. The artificial mind they got does. And we can resolve that problem. Because they come together and says, oh, son of man, when you're ready, your people be ready. And so they be volunteering. I mean, they be all over me. Man, yeah, let's do it, bro. That'll be a beautiful day. A beautiful day. Go their mind back and, hey, man. Then they're going to respect because they said, man, you was on the case, man. Look, I'm glad you did. But what are they going to say about those kings that weren't on the case? Hey, brother, how come? You have no idea what's about to happen. That's what Elijah Muhammad said. Brother, don't pray for that day because you have no idea what you're up against. I'm going to leave it there, brothers and sisters. Let me go on. I have my other stuff, but I'm going to leave it there. Oh, Lord. It's a rough day. Yeah, see, 2 doctors a day. Man. You know, I shouldn't even go into this. Right? I had to get a new doctor because the other one, every time I go in, he got some new pills for me to take. I said, man, he got mad at me because I told him I was eating one meal all day. And lately I've been fasting like nothing during the week. Just eat on the weekends, right? Oh, man. So that's a long story. Then he told me, well, man, you got a kidney problem. So I got to see his kidney specialist. I said, wow, where that came from? All of a sudden, kidney problems. I mean, that guy I got more pills. I'm like a damn pharmacy. I said, man, I ain't taking all this stuff. So he got mad at me. Oh man, you're difficult. So then he gave me his clock test. I don't know if you ever took his clock test, but you get your thing and you got to draw a clock. And you got to say it's 2 o'clock and you draw the whole thing, your picture, right? And then he asks you 3 words and you got to remember those 3. He don't tell you, you're going to remember them. And then, so I do the clock, right? And so I passed that test, right? And then the 3 words he told me, he said, what's that 3 words I told you? I didn't keep that memorize that stuff, man. That's damn what. I remember one of them, right? So in other words, because he think, he tried to check me out, so he think I'm crazy because, I'm eating 1 meal a day and fasting and I don't want to take his pills, right? And he told me, well, you got to take the eloquence because you got a blood clot, right? I got a blood clot because a couple of years ago he gave me this stuff and it damn near paralyzed me. I'm not saying, I don't know, like I said, I got all kinds of reasons why I think that happened. I talked about that in the past. That's the only time I ever called out the mass from him. I said, you know what's going on here? Because I can't move. That's not all together. Anyway, so I got a blood clot out of that. And it's life-threatening. I still got a blood clot now. They said they break loose, it can give me a stroke and give me a heart attack just like that. I said, man, I ain't worried about that. I ain't worried about it. So people tell me they have problems. You think that's not a problem? So him taking his blood thinner stuff. I said, man, you could die. I said, man, I'm 76 years old, man. Shit, we think I'm going to live 1 million years? So I took it for a while. I said, man, I ain't going to keep taking stuff that's blood thinner. And then he told me, man, you got anemia. I said, what the hell I got anemia from? So I looked up, and that's one of the side effects of blood. I said, man, I ain't taking that stuff no more. Remember, you could die, man. I said, hell, shit, I could die walking across the street. She don't like that kind of talk. See, I told him I'm interested in quality of life, not quantity. Not mental life, rather. Quality. I don't want to be around and I can't take care of myself. I lose my independence. People got to push me in a wheelchair and feed me. That ain't me. That's not going to happen unless I just go insane. See? That's why he gave me that clock test. They think I can't remember anything. Well, I lost it. I can't remember, right? But I don't forget the angel. I don't forget all that. So he says, oh, well, so I'm saying, well, I said, yeah, I ain't taking this medication anymore. Well, yeah, he got all mad and everything. Right? And so he says, well, all of a sudden I got a kidney situation. Where the hell that come from? Right? And so, because, what was that? See, he said I had cholesterol. So he told me I need to take this stuff. So I said, okay. I went for that one. Next thing I know, he said, I got something with that cholesterol stuff probably caused the kidney situation. So I stopped taking the cholesterol. I said, I'm taking none of this stuff. I got a whole, and I don't take most of that stuff, right? No, let me back up. That wasn't it. It wasn't the cholesterol. I had a prostrate, overlarge prostrate. And they was giving me this stuff, I forget what they call it. And that stuff, I think, had an allergic effect to it. Right? And so I think that's probably what caused the kidney thing. Anyway, I stopped. I had to try surgery where they do whatever they can so to make it short, smaller, whatever the prostrate, whatever, right? They ain't eliminate the prostrate, just open it up as whatever they do. So I'm cool now. Right? And so then they said, well, now you got the kidney thing. Right? And that's beside that's besides the blood clot. I said, well, maybe it's Flomax. That's what it was, Flomax. That's what call it stuff. So I won't take it anymore. But anyway, so he said, what the hell? So he come and take a blood test like that. I said, man, look, I'm not, you're going to tell me the chemistry lab here. See? So he told me, well, and then he told me, then he came and said, well, now I think you might have cancer, prostate cancer. I said, man, all of a sudden this stuff coming up. I was healthy before I ran to you. I came here, only thing I had was a prostate issue. Now all of a sudden I got this, I got cancer. No cancer in my family. I got kidneys, I ain't taking all that stuff. He said, well, you got to do a biopsy. I was about to take it. I said, hell, I ain't doing it either. Because the biopsy, I was going to turn him to a Farrakhan, because that's what he had. He said, well, I said, yeah, if we're going to check or do a biopsy, if we see any kid, we're going to get these pills and going to radiate your head. And I said, yeah, you're going to make me to a Farrakhan, right? I said, nope. So I left that doctor and I went and got me a new one. Right? And he seems pretty cool, young brother. Right? He's pretty cool. I told him I ain't interested, or here, I'm not interested in you trying to put me on dialysis, trying to put me on machine, all that kind of stuff, give me all kind of medication. I said, I'm interested in quality of life, not length of life. He said, I'm with you. I'm on the same page with you. I said, okay, I'm in the right place. He said, yeah, I'm down with that too. That's what he told me. So all that stuff, came and showed all those pills they wanted me to take. I said, I ain't taking this stuff. I thought he got mad because he said, I said, I'm not taking that stuff, man. I said, I came here, all I had was a prostate thing, and now you got all these pills. And every time I got anemia, and anemia is from taking Eliquis. I looked it up. So a lot of these pills you got me taking because I had the side effects of other stuff. So man, hold that stuff. So I said, okay. And now here's where I'm ready to bounce. Because I'm getting ready to drop something on you that's going to blow you away, right? According to the angel, right? They tell me exactly, because I told you about the landmark. That's what I'm getting to. Long way. The landmarks know I'm on the right track. Everything falling into place, everything, right? That means according to that, I'm doing everything exactly right, like they thought I would be doing, right? And so my next move is this war takes out, and I'm going to take out Farrakhan because he's got to go. I already told everything that I've been telling him is in place right now, right? Right. Like I said, you got those the three kings. They say what they be doing. That's whether they're here. So maybe it's landmarks. Maybe they don't do anything. All landmarks. That's a line. That's a mountain. It's a landmark. Maybe it's landmarks. Maybe not supposed to do anything. Anyway, they showed up. So I know I'm on, right? So I'm saying, hey, what do I need a damn doctor for? I got the angel. He says I'm going to make it, then what I need that crap for? He didn't say nothing about, I mean, take this doctor, take these damn pills. I slum alaikum. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters.